Hello, hello, whoever you are, hello. So, I'm gonna roll a d4 to decide who I'm doing today. I got the Magical Dimensions Oracle cards and activators. I've mixed the Wild Unknown Animal Spirits and Tarot. I did the mixing before the video this time, so, sometimes I do it as part of the video because sometimes it feels like it's part of the energy, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to roll a d4 to see if we do cardinal signs 1, fixed signs 2, mutable signs 3, or by element 4. And then the elements I have broken down already. So what's this? 2. So we're doing fixed signs. I feel like I do fixed signs quite often, but it doesn't matter. And the side of the die, I'm seeing it's a 3-4. So it's mutable and element. Well, fixed signs, this would be air and fire. And we're in the middle of 3 is air, 4 is fire. And we're in the middle of fixed air and fire moon cycles. Right? Full moon Aquarius, new moon Leo, full moon Aquarius. So that's interesting. Okay. So let's see. Give me a second, cause hold it. Not this way. There we go. Hold up. And I'm also gonna timestamp this as I go. So I'm gonna do Leo first. Oh, cause Leo, you were actually supposed to go, but that reading felt like mega collective. So I'm going to get 1 or 2 of these, and then I'm going to get some of the other ones to clarify, and we'll see what's up for the now that you need to be aware of. Oh, goodness. So you got 2 of them, Leo. Reflective Truth in the Root Portal, with the bottom of the deck being the Heart Portal. So you get the Heart and the Root with Reflective Truth, which is interesting. So there is a bit of an energy here, Leo, that's like it's to be who you are in the 3D that you are in the above, right? It's basically embodying your higher self, right? And under the heart portal is harmonic resolution. 20 and 19. Interesting. And breakthrough is under harmonic resolution. Love that. So, Leo, I didn't even timestamp for you. I'm going to do that really quick, just a few seconds. I'll mark you at 3 minutes. There's this reflective truth between your heart chakra and your root chakra. I guess I could leave that bit. I don't know if you can zoom in and read that. This lens is a little fisheye. And so that's how I gotta twist things to make them appear in line. Here. Where's the 3-4? Oh, well, it's 1 now. That's fine. I'll set this back in the bag, actually, so I don't lose it. So the heart portal is receptivity. Hold up. Generosity. And mistrusting when out of balance. I'm actually going to pick these up. You actually have 33. 33 is the root portal. 31 is reflective truth. So there's a 2, 33, 4 here. And I almost want to put it in that order. So, heart portal is receptivity, generosity, and mistrusting when out of balance. The root portal is vitality, stability, and survival, and fearful when out of balance. And reflective truth is identity, self love, and acceptance. So yeah, I'm gonna put it in a 2, 3, 3, 4 order, and I'm just gonna line these up according to the table because it gets overly complicated when I try to do it the other way. I'm gonna give these a shuffle. I already shuffled them before, but you know, and then we're gonna start. The eagle and the moth at the cut. The moth speaks to transformation done in the dark, and I feel like moth energy, especially with the eagle. I've seen these two together or recently. Um, the moth and the eagle, it feels like transformation of those things that we hold on to as strength that don't really serve us anymore. It served us when we were in the dark. It serves us in the dark. But if you want to experience light, then there are certain things that you have to be able to let go. I'm just trying to make sure I don't put reversals in here. So, let's get a card for the heart portal. Ooh, that's a few cards for the root portal. Which is that tarantula. Again, I saw that recently. And then for reflective truth, I'll take the owl. Anything else want to come out? I feel like my cards don't usually speak to me like this. Well, they do sometimes. Sometimes they're chattier than other days. One more. It's just the owl. Bottom of the deck is the camel, the stingray, and the daughter of swords. Because of that owl, and I'll also take the spider because the tarantula is here. And then the phoenix is behind all of this. Which, it feels like, Leo, once you discover your fire, once you find your spark, it causes some kind of chain reaction within you. It makes sense, though, because that's you almost returning to your element. Right? Because the tarantula is fire, but the spider is earth. Love that. Love that. Love it, love it, love it. So, let me try to flip this up right for you. Not that you'll really be able to see these up here. What's worth thought I call you? Okay. You know what? Y'all's gonna see a little mess, but I want you to see as much of the cards as possible, so it is what it is. Oh, hey! I still have this up here. That's fun. Okay. Yeah, because then you get to see more of the cards. And I'm going to push this back over here, and you get to see me, I guess, today. You'll see me looking at the cards more often or more likely than not. Let's see. And, like, this is so... There we go. That's not too bad. You get to see all that. You see everything. It's everything. We're looking at everything, Leo. And it's starting with you. But that's the thing about the sun. The sun is an energy that illuminates lots of things. And you can hide from the sun if you want, right? There are plenty of places to seek shade and shadow. And I think that's the comfort that we need to break out of. It's like there's something within you that you may not want to be seen, or something within you that you don't even see. But again, there's this element of returning to your element. And Leo, your element is being seen. Right? Oh, lovely. It's worth it. It's worth you being able to see all of these. So the heart portal is coming out with the 2 of Swords, the 7 of Swords, the Ace of Cups, and the Golden Egg. Okay. Oops. Oh, goodness. So I accidentally knocked over the cards. I see the Phoenix, the Three of Swords, the Seven of Pentacles. I think that's the Devil and the Moon. The Phoenix, the Three of Swords. Oh. No, it goes here. The Seven of Pentacles. The Devil. And the Moon. And since I expanded this, I can just set this here and you can still see the Moon with the Mother of Swords. Okay. And we do have the Owl, so that's more Owl energy. The Owls are the Watchers right now. You can't see the Devil because my face is here. I was gonna take myself away, but I'm not gonna do that. I was gonna do it so you could see the Ace of Cups, but it's fine if we don't see the fullness of the Devil because that's not the point. Right? I think sometimes we can get lost in trying to figure out the workings of the machinations rather than it's like seeing them for what they are and releasing them. Right? There's an energy where we need to know, but we don't need to get lost in it because sometimes we can create more for ourselves to do in a way. And again, there's something about you. Oh, you can't see reflective truth now. Because of the Owl. Because of the Mother of Swords. Well, it's because I put these here. The Lion? Okay. Alright. This is just unfolding into better and better. Give me a second. I know how to remedy this. I know how to fix this. I think I know what to try to remedy this. Leo, all of this is part of your reading. Boom! See, if I look at it... Hey Siri, turn off lamp. Hey Siri.
Okay, the lamp is off.
Thank you. The shadow is still there. Oh. That's because... Okay. It's still there? Hey Siri, turn on lamp.
Okay, the lamp is on.
Hey Siri, turn off lamp. That didn't really do anything.
Okay, the lamp is off.
Hey Siri, thank you.
Don't mention it.
I like this. This feels really surgical to me. I wish y'all could see it from how I see it because the light is right above it. The light makes it easier for me to see these a lot more clearly. It sharpens everything. And again, it's that energy of the sun highlighting and illuminating everything. Part of this reflective truth is hiding under the shadow of the Mother of Swords, which is the shadow side of the Queen of Swords, sorry. And the spider is also here. So the spider, or the Eight of Pentacles, is a spider in its web in the Wild Unknown Tarot. And the Eight of Pentacles with the Mother of Swords to me signifies it's this energy, so it carries through with the Mother of Swords and the spider. It's this energy where we get so comfortable with the lives that we've built that we don't give ourselves the opportunity to experience more or to experience different or to experience better. And with the Queen of Swords in particular, it's how we work through our past experiences to put ourselves in a position of, it's that Seven of Wands energy. Advantage. To give ourselves an advantageous position. The Queen of Swords is the feminine energy who has been discounted and discredited and taken from by masculine energies, and so she becomes so much more in order to stake her claim and to not budge. And in that, she may get called a few B words, but she's respected. But there comes a time where she needs to soften in order to experience better, in order to allow for a different experience, a different dynamic with masculine energies, right? And did that come out here, or was I just thinking it? There's this energy of like the strength that you found when you were in the dark. No, I said it somewhere. What served you in the dark isn't going to serve you as well in the light. And if you want to experience light, there are things that you're going to have to let go. And I feel like that's all of this, honestly. I feel like that's literally what all of this is. There is better that's available to you. But what you've had to do to make peace and to find some kind of, or create some sort of stability in the past while under a more oppressive energy, it's like you're struggling with holding that against everything that you know is coming for you. And it seems like you're starting to do the work. You're doing the work here. There are certain things that you are releasing. You're discovering that you're more than your past. And you are aligning more and more and more. You're increasing your internal reserves. And so it's like you can better put up with the BS. You can better manage the BS. But you don't necessarily have to where you're going. And it's going to reach that point where you've done enough work that your experiences, the world around you, is going to start to change. But if you continue to hold on to all of this old stuff, you're going to be keeping yourself from that. And depending on how you are with accountability and responsibility and in some part awareness, it's going to seem like other people are doing it to you. But in some ways, you're doing it to yourself. And this is also collective. There are certain things that are progressing and certain things that are moving forward, and so it isn't necessarily going to serve us as much to be as held to the past. How that works, I don't know. I mean, we also need to make sure that we're moving forward in the right direction, because sometimes we come into these energies of, like, let's let bygones be bygones, but nothing changes. Something has to change in order for that to be an effective approach, right? It's like, let's say that there's someone who hurts you, and one day you say, you know what, like, I don't need this resentment in my life, so I forgive you. And let's say you decide that it is applicable to your situation to reestablish communication with that person on top of the forgiveness, but they continue to do the things that they did before that hurt you, then it leads you to the same thing, right? Then it isn't necessarily conducive to your health, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever, to be in that situation. But if things change, then that's one of those positions where it may be more beneficial to just leave the past in the past, to forgive it and move on, because the situation is not what it was, right? So that's what I got for you, Leo. There is so much, so much coming in for you. And you've experienced a lot already. But I feel like you've been watched in spaces that you don't even necessarily, like, you're not even aware of. This could be like literally. Like there could be someone who has observed you, who sees a potential in you, and who wants to offer you something. With this Ace of Cups and Golden Egg energy. But depending on your internal state, right? Depending on your vulnerability, your openness, your willingness to take that leap of faith, your intuition, and a healthy level of shadow so that like your paranoia, your fear, the past doesn't come in and destroy your future. You may not take it. It may appear to be too good to be true to you. And it also feels too like you're going to be experiencing things that reflect more on your higher potential rather than your experiences of the past. But again, it's like, use your discernment. Not every opportunity is necessarily going to be it. But for the one that is, for the ones that are, you'll know. And with the lion being under the moon and the Mother of Swords, it feels like it's leading you back to you. Again, with the rebirth of the Phoenix, it feels like it's leading you back to you. But to a higher version of you, to a you that isn't as burdened by what has transpired in your life. So that's what I got, Leo. Wow, that wasn't as bad. I was like, this is a lot of cards. Oh, because the moth was there. That's when it was the moth and the eagle. That's when I said that what served you in the dark may not necessarily serve you in the light. Right? What was true of the past may not necessarily be true of the future. And we can keep ourselves locked in certain cycles purely because of our beliefs. The black egg and the fish. The black egg and the fish. Oh, girl, hold up. So we're playing this game today. The black egg and the fish with the moth at the bottom of the deck. These were literally the cards where I was like, I don't know. There's this light, dark, light energy between the black egg and the fish. The moth is a card of transformation, but it's transformation in the dark. It's transformation in a way that we don't necessarily express. But the danger of the moth is that if we don't express that transformation again, our reality doesn't change. If you're a different person on the inside, but you appear the same on the outside, like you make the same choices, you make the same decisions, then it stagnates your external shift. Right? For example, if there are things that you are no longer averse to, like vegetables, right? Let's say that you're no longer vegetable averse. You like vegetables, so now you can eat more balanced. Your diet becomes more balanced. But if you never actually eat those vegetables, then you don't experience any of the health benefits to balancing out your diet, right? So that's that internal transformation. Like you don't hate vegetables anymore. Like you actually enjoy them, but if you never eat them, you don't get anything. You don't get any of the nutrients and vitamins that those vegetables would provide you. And so your physical state stays the same, even though there has been an internal transformation. Something like the way that we engage and interact with our environment has to begin to change to allow the domino effect of new and new and new and bigger and bigger and bigger to come in. Right? And that's the fish, the black egg, and the moth. More or less. I'm like, wow, okay. So, next is Aquarius. Aquarius, we're going to say that you start at 25 minutes. Because why not? Aquarius. 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 You did 2 full moons this year, Aquarius. I know an Aquarius moon. Actually, I think I know 2 Aquarius moons. But it's not about them specifically. It's about the collective of Aquarian energies. I feel like it would be so difficult to be an Aquarius right now, or to be in Aquarian energy. It's like the entire hope of like a spiritual humanity is on Aquarian energy. Oh, the age of Aquarius, the age of Aquarius, the age of Aquarius. And I feel like Aquarius is such an interesting energy to put all of your hope on, to pour your hope into, because Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. We're entering the rulership of like an age, an era ruled by Uranus. And Uranus is, I think Uranus is beautiful, but the transition into its energy is intense. It feels like it would require lots and lots and lots of detoxification. It feels like it would only require that much detoxification if it was needed, right? Because Aquarius is a very humanitarian energy. It's very, like, progressive, but also collective. And it progresses a collective rather than more individualism. Right? Rather than like this one person doing really, really, really well while the rest of the world suffers. It's like elevating the entire plane, right? And if we're elevating the entire plane, where's my hand? If we're elevating the entire plane, it's going to be different than it was in the past. In the past, again, it was like one group of people could rise and others would stagnate or fall. But we're raising everyone. And so to raise everyone, it's like we have to start with the lower and raise them up to baseline, and then everyone raises up. And if we can't raise those to baseline, we may never fully enter the age of Aquarius. That's on us. That's on the collective humanity. The age of Aquarius can be marked by literally trying and failing to meet the needs of those who are forgotten. Aquarius is also, the rebel. It's the quirky, unique one, right? It's like no one left behind. And if there are people that we continuously try to leave behind, if there are people that we continuously neglect and reject, then we're never going to move forward. The age of Pisces should have been beautiful. Who would have guessed, like if you sit back and if you think of a world where there are many religions and spiritual systems of belief that are centered around love and loving others and being kind and being charitable and being giving and treating others with decency and respect, who would think that that would lead to like war and starvation and the wiping out of entire cultures and civilizations under the banner, under the name of a supposedly loving God? Who would think that the age of Pisces would give us that? You would think that the age of Pisces would be beautiful because everyone's giving and charitable and loving. But that didn't happen. And the age of Aquarius can be the same if we don't do what we actually need to do to make it as beautiful as we envision it to be. Things need to be done. You can't put all of your hope on one thing, on one person, on one body, and expect for it to solve everything anymore. We tried that in the age of Pisces. It didn't work. There are many ascended masters, many respected spiritual leaders. And for all of that, what did it do for us? Got us to harm and take from others under their name. Woo, Aquarius. That's not for you specifically. That's just for the collective of those who would place all of their faith in the age of Aquarius, but who wouldn't necessarily do much of anything to make it so. we can do exactly what we did with the Age of Pisces. The elephant is here. The elephant is interesting because it feels like it is both barring and permitting at the same time. It feels like elephant energy is actually establishing or maintaining these boundaries for us to more fully come into that like golden age sort of energy, right? It's like if you want that, you're going to have to take care of these people, you're going to have to take care of those people, you're going to have to take care of the environment. You're going to have to do this, and that. And after you fulfill all of that, then you may enter this new, oh, look at the Two of Wands. Then you may enter this new sort of age where you experience more of the spiritual, because this is where it starts. It starts in the spiritual. It lands in the root in the physical. And there have been things that would prevent us from sort of reaching that in the past. And it would be ourselves, our selfishness, our caring attitudes, our disregard for one another. Okay, but again, for the collective of Aquarii, ooh, that was quick. Well, the throat portal. Speak your truth. Number 40. Let's see, I'll give it 3 more to see if anything else comes out. Nope. Bottom of the deck is attachment, with the guardians under attachment. 40 and 2. This is death and the high priestess energy. This is life and death is in the power of the tongue. This is also us being made in the image of the I want to say the grand creator. And it's interesting. It honestly feels like a little bit of a challenge for fixed energies. Honestly. Because it feels like fixed energy, it is in the present because of the past. That's how we sort of get fixed, right? I feel like there's also a sterile energy in that, because when your pet gets fixed, that means they can't reproduce anymore. And sterility kind of sort of makes sense for fixed energy, because it's not really about creating anything new, it's more about maintaining and preserving. But fixed energy has just as much a role in creation as any other. And again, it takes me back to that elephant energy of what is, I guess if I turn on the lamp, then you can see me a little better. That's fine. Sorry. Hey Siri, turn on lamp.
Okay.
There you go. A little bit better, yeah. It doesn't affect this as much, but it affects this. It feels like this is a part of that elephant energy that is both barring, and it's like both establishing boundaries and removing boundaries. It feels like a very Saturn-Jupiter energy. And Saturn and Jupiter just conjuncted in Aquarius, so that makes sense. It feels like Saturn and Jupiter because Saturn puts boundaries and barriers and restrictions and limits for a Jupiterian expansion. So it's like once you satisfy this set of criteria, you get to expand. And then when you satisfy that, you expand, satisfy that, you expand, satisfy that, you expand. It feels like things aren't necessarily just being given as freely as they were before, because it wasn't necessarily conducive to the growth and evolution of humanity. Right? It seems like what we did more often than not was, we find what works to get what we want. It was all based on desire. Oh, and look, we have the dragon hoarding the cash. Yeah, it was all based on desire. But that doesn't feel like the truth of Aquarius. It honestly feels more Leo in energy. Maybe the shadow side of Leo, but it feels like that's the polarity between Leo and Aquarius. It feels like Leo would be more concerned with the appearance, where Aquarius is more concerned with the truth in this throat portal. The throat portal is speak your truth, courage, and its suppression when in shadow. Attachment is accumulation, defensiveness, and scarcity. I'm actually going to read attachment. I saw a gold dragon. This isn't necessarily gold, but I was watching The Witcher and there's a gold dragon. Cosmic egg on the bottom of the deck. It feels like Aquarius holds a lot of medicine, but it doesn't necessarily dispense it. It feels like it holds that medicine rather than giving it. And maybe for good reason, right? In your own life, right? Attachment, accumulation, defensiveness, and scarcity. This is connected with the scarlet gold color ray. Attachment resonates to the potentials of both vibrations of accumulation and lack. The over-identification of material possessions can cause a myriad of conflicting emotions, ranging from defensiveness, withholding, or greed. This releasing ray calls for a higher perspective to remind oneself that things consist of energy and cannot be contained. Energy is in a constant state of ebb and flow. The need for detachment of materialism and relinquishing possessions is required for true abundance. A period of accumulation of wealth may be on the horizon, so caution is required in how you proceed. Or you may be clutching to material possessions and need to release them. If you are feeling like wealth is scarce, revisit all lack and scarcity programs running in your life and modify your belief systems toward prosperity. Know that you are always provided for. This is connected with goldstone, pyrite, and goldenrod essential oil. It feels like instead of this being material, it feels more like it's centered around acceptance. It feels like you are the thing that you hoard from others, in a way. And your expression. That's the suppression and the shadow of this energy. I think there's also, I'm going to go looking for the Six of Pentacles, because there's also an energy here of learning the balance between giving and receiving, right? Attachment implies that you need to give more, but it's not necessarily about giving everything, because you still need to take care of you, right? Like if there's nothing in your tank, then you have nothing to give. Nothing to give and nowhere to go. There it is. It's between the Emperor and Justice, with the spider and the phoenix on the outside. The Phoenix and the Hermit. See, again, there's this energy of something that you're withholding, Aquarius. Again, it feels like Aquarius holds the medicine, but it isn't giving it in some way. I don't know what that means. It's not for me to know. I mean, my Saturn is in Aquarius. My midheaven is in Aquarius. My sun is in the house of Aquarius, which it's my 11th house. It's cusped in Aquarius, and it's the 11th house. So I can be a little people pleasy. And it's not necessarily to give where it isn't asked for, but it may be to learn to give in a way that people can receive. Right? I don't know. Let's get some throat portal cards, please. Oh, there's the sun. Speaking of Leo energy. I don't know why we're looking at the bottoms. You just got a whole bunch of animals. Shout out to Reem, the gazelle. I know the deer is like the Reem card, but it's a white gazelle. This isn't a white gazelle, but we're going back to when, the gazelle wasn't near extinction or extinct. Back to what it originally meant. Oh my gosh, this is so many animals. Aquarius, you got a whole zoo. Hello? And like barely any tarot. Oh, I hope it's animals I know. I hope it's animals I know. But I love that this came out with Reem. Because it's almost like deer is not the truth of what that is. The truth is that white gazelle. And just because it's extinct, and just because we now have something to stand in the place of that, doesn't change what the truth originally is. And the dragon and the throat portal of truth, I was literally just thinking about this before I went live today. Wizards of Earthsea, the first book in the Earthsea series, all of the magic done is done in the ancient tongue. It's done in speaking the true names of things, right? And dragons are old. Dragons speak in the ancient tongue. It's also that you cannot lie in the ancient tongue, because again, it's a tongue of truths and the true names of things, so you can't lie in it. But since that's the dragon's native tongue, it's like they're able to. It's not that they lie, but it's like they're able to use grammatical rules to tell the truth, but to do it in a way that's very roundabout and confusing. Like speaking double negatives and stuff like that, right? If you know grammar, then you can know like what a double negative is, and you can arrange the words to sound like one thing, but to disguise the truth of it. And that's what dragons are able to do, since that's their natural tongue. But for the wizards that learn, those things aren't teachable by textbook, right? It's like whenever you learn a language, there are certain things that just like, or like between languages, there are things that are sort of lost in translation. It's like that energy. But it feels like the truth of you, in some part, has been lost in translation. But it feels like you hold it. It feels like you know what it is, you just don't, like you aren't it. Maybe you're rediscovering. Maybe there is a part of you that's rediscovering. As you grow more and more and more into your authenticity, as you manage and leverage that in your day-to-day life in all ways, you come more into remembering, you come more into knowing the fullness of who you are with this Emperor down here. So, Mother of Pentacles is like the only tarot you got. Starfish, Rabbit. This is an energy. This is prey animal energy. But it's this energy, it's like because you dim yourself, because you mute yourself in order to be more palatable, or in order to not be eaten in certain situations, you create yourself into smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller boxes. Right? Or it could be this energy of suppression, right? You don't want to make any waves because like whenever you've done that, you were faced with rejection or whatever. I'm not saying whatever to be dismissive. I'm saying whatever to be inclusive of all of the things that I don't know about to mention. And so you get further and further and further and further and further from the truth of who you are. Then we have the tiger and the dragon. The tiger and the dragon. This is a white tiger. White tiger is very high priestess to me. Also, tigers in general to me, it's an energy of strength but with grace. Tiger to me is a tempered strength. Lion is a strength that is very expressive. Lion it's the roar that you're going to hear from halfway across the savannah. But the tiger doesn't need to do all that. The tiger doesn't need to present fierceness or strength in order for you to know that it is strong and fierce. And because it doesn't need to do that, it embodies a certain grace. And again, it goes back to the Six of Pentacles energy. There's this energy where it's like with the Six of Pentacles into justice, it's knowing, being more and more and more and more of who you are, finding those sweet spots of authenticity, right? You can be all of who you are and not show everybody all that you have to show, right? Because different situations call for different amounts and different parts of different whatever, right? And there's a way that you can honor yourself fully, but still be appropriate. I don't want to say appropriate, but to be appropriate for the situation at hand. And that too is the strength of the Emperor. The Emperor knows the audience that he's addressing and talking to, and he addresses them all in the way that he needs to while still maintaining the power of his presence and his authenticity. And then you have the unicorn and the buffalo to top it all off. Like, you get the dragon, you get the unicorn. The buffalo was reminding me of Tatanka in Lakota. I think David Red Oak, and I was watching Wakinyan and the Thunder Being, Wakinyan and the Heyoka, the Thunder Beings and the Heyoka, and he went through the history of Wakinyan and how Wakinyan was with the Wankantanka, and there was a bear, and I saw the bear. There was a bear who wanted to be a part of the Wankantanka. And so back when humanity was under the earth, he went down there and he taught them one of the songs of the Wankantanka. And his only caveat, his only condition was that when they played the song, he knew that they would be invited to join the Wankantanka. And his only condition is that he only accept if the bear can get in with him. So that's how Tatanka and the bear got invited into the Wankantanka. They played the song so beautifully that Wakinyan, flying over the earth, heard them and came down, and like this giant thunder being came down, and everybody was shook. But she blessed their drums. So whenever they need healing, whenever they need some kind of medicine, if they make a steady beat on the drum, and if you don't have drums, use the cymbal. If you don't have a cymbal, use your hands. If you don't have your hands, use whatever. And it's a steady beat, right? It's that steady beat. But then Tatanka was welcomed into the Wankantanka. And so there is an energy here of the buffalo becoming the unicorn. That was Tatanka before Tatanka meant buffalo or something like that. I can't. So there's this energy here, and I'm sorry to use Reem's name in a way, but it's just like it perfectly paints this. It perfectly illustrates this for me, because this is the deer Reem. This is the white gazelle Reem. And so again, it's this energy of like embodying more and more, learning when and how to be yourself. And it sounds really interesting to say it, but there's a very multifaceted energy to Aquarius. And again, it's like knowing when to be which facet, knowing when to show which side, and to what degree and to what intensity to get the job done. Because it feels like there's a lot of you that kind of sort of gets repressed or that doesn't get expressed. And so it fuels further suppression within you. That's the reciprocity of the Six of Pentacles. If you suppress it, it is further suppressed. If you express it, it is further expressed and further welcomed. If you suppress it, it's further outcast. If you express it, it's further welcomed. But again, there's an energy of finding the environments. That's where the Mother of Pentacles comes in. The Mother of Pentacles knows how to nurture everything, basically. And so it's finding these environments where it's safe for you to be that. and opening up. And then as you open up where it's safe, you'll get more and more confidence to more fully embody yourself in situations where it may not be as safe. But the thing there is to like not compromise your integrity as much, or to not compromise who you are as much. Because I feel like, Aquarius is also a very strong energy. And I feel like if you wanted to not compromise, you'd be able to do that. But yeah, so this is like, you stop suppressing as much. You find these areas where you come into more and more and more of who you are. And I feel like the dragon here, alongside the tiger, it implies that there's a point in time where you're going to be learning the balance, right? Maybe you may be a little extra hot and a little extra fiery sometimes. Other times you'll be a little bit more, I want to say, poised. And it's not that either is necessarily wrong. And there are times to be the dragon, and there are times to be the tiger. The tiger knows when to be the dragon. Because again, the tiger is just as strong, if not stronger, than the lion. But the tiger doesn't need to carry that with it. It's a very scorpionic energy versus an Aries energy. Where Scorpio is like internally that warrior energy, where Aries is externally that. It doesn't make Scorpio any less Martian than Aries. And then, as we navigate this, it's like we are invited to be more. It's like we are invited to be more and we accept that invitation to be more. And that's how we rebirth the white gazelle instead of the deer. That's what I got for you, Aquarius. And again, it feels like something that you don't necessarily have to freak out about too much. It's like, taking opportunities to be you. More and more and more and more and more. And more and more and more and more. And more and more. I'm still singing. I was going to pause this in between the different sections to like clean up the cards, but it's fine. There's that starfish again. Oh, there's a song, Original Hamster, More and More. Yeah. It's interesting that it's original hamster, because with hamster you think that it just runs the wheel all day every day, but it's an original hamster, right? It's a hamster that isn't all about just running wheels and doing whatever. And so there is an energy too there that's about cosmic air at the bottom of the deck again. Wait. It's inside you. It's like everything that you are going to be, everything that you have to accomplish is already inside you. But you need to find a way to let it out. Ice Queen. Oh my gosh, I love the Ice Queen. The Ice Queen in this deck is all about knowing your dark, knowing your light, and choosing light. Ice Queen is introspection, self-analysis, and fortitude. Master number 22. I'm actually going to read Ice Queen because she's literally my favorite card in this deck. Every time I see her, I'm like, yes! And I like rarely get her for myself. Ice Queen. Again, she is introspection, self-analysis, and fortitude connected with the silver-white color ray. Ice Queen resonates to personal power and liberation from the shadow self. This revealing ray ignites strength and fortitude, calling forth a presence from the depths of the soul to penetrate through the most difficult of challenges and trials. Fusing a bridge between the powers of nature, soul light power, and the darkness that is a part of the light itself, A new butterfly is born as it sheds its old self and steps into the newness and light of its own being. I feel like that perfectly sums up everything that was over here. All right, Aqua, and then the Guardians are here, and it's like it's a sacred process. It is coming into the authenticity of you is sacred, and the authenticity of you is sacred. The truth of you is sacred, right? And when you treat something as sacred, it's not that it's ever hidden, but it doesn't necessarily have to be fully expressed at like every single opportunity. You know what I mean? It's not suppressed, but it's not repressed either. And it goes back to that balance that needs to be, that you're going to come into in some way. Solar portal, which is all about that expression again. Okay. All right. Closing it down. Taurus. I have said thy name, Taurus. Aquarius, you're done. I'm going to say 55-55 for Taurus. So, Taurus. Le boule. Bovine is the bull. What's another word for bull? How do you say Gu? Gu? I know Gyunu is milk. Gyuniku is beef. So Gyu should be Japanese for cow. Ooh, Taurus. Okay. A little bit of mystery. I'll give it 2 more. We'll keep the mystery going. Trust is under that. I immediately want to say trust the process, Taurus, because you don't know what either one of these cards are, but you're being asked to trust. Trust what? It's like, you got to tell me what you asking me before you tell me to trust. Oh, there's the gazelle again. The gazelle is my Reem card. Miss Reemy Healings. And it was important for Aquarius. So I guess if you have Aquarius in your chart, or if you're interested, it's approximately like half an hour long. But you can check it out if you want. So what is this for Taurus? I'm going to give this 5 shuffles. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. Last shuffle. Oh, girl, no, that's way too much. But I'll give you 2 more, because I'm not taking like 15 cards. Okay. Goodness, I still ended up taking a bunch of cards. Taurus! Oh my gosh, the other Reem card! Okay. Oh, the Nightingale is here. I was literally just thinking of the Nightingale the other day, because I'm using I'm combining these more, and I was like, what about the Nightingale? What do I say about the Nightingale? She warbles? Oops. So I don't know if it applies or not, but Moulin Rouge, where what's her name? Satine is like, why live life from dream to dream and dread the day that dreaming ends? Just popped into my mind. But it was that line of like, why live life from dream to dream, more specifically. From dream to dream and dread the day that dreaming ends. And then the show must go on. I don't know if they're in the same song. The show must go on. The show must go on. Inside my heart is breaking. My makeup may be flaking, but my smile still stays on. Taurus, what is happening? Why live life from dream to dream is literally right here. 7 of Pentacles and the 9 of Cups. And dread the day that dreaming ends with the hyena. There's an energy. It feels like Taurus is afraid to put energy into something. Taurus is afraid to dream and like waste time, energy, or effort. That's what this one is. Exiled. Oh, goodness. That's some heavy energy. I'm going to read that one out the book. Yeah, see. Because it's this energy of like, why live life from dream to dream and dread the day that dreaming ends? Like looking like a fool with the hyena. Being a laughing stock. It also feels like there are things that Taurus desires, but it may not necessarily view as realistic. So it forsakes the dream in order for what will supposedly work with the 7 of Pentacles. Or maybe it's like, you've been doing something for a while and you want to make this sudden shift and change, but you don't know how it's going to be received. And there's almost this energy too where Taurus laughs at itself before anyone else can. And it's like, yeah, let's not do that. Exiled, illusion of separation, disconnect, and isolation. This is connected with the cerulean fire color ray. Exiled resonates to the illusion of isolation and separation. All souls are innately endowed with a quest for both self and interconnection. However, clouds of illusion can sway the self into believing in universal separation, thus initiating states of segregation and disconnection. When limited beliefs arise from past or present dimensional timescapes and existing feelings of being exiled or outcast prevail, it is this encouraging ray that swiftly rescues and reminds the soul of its unison with all life forms and spiritual consciousness. You are not an outsider, and it's now time to engage into life and connect with others. Allow yourself to feel loved. It may appear that doors are locked, but that is not the case. Review your thoughts and allow the magic of life to help you. Acknowledge the opportunities that are right in front of you. This is connected with blue fluorite, garnet, and cinnamon essential oil. So yeah, this feels like a fear of shut doors. It feels like a fear of isolation, a fear of abandonment that keeps you from pursuing what it is that you actually desire. Now over here, with the Nightingale and the Ace of Cups, this feels like the birth of a new song, Taurus. But it's coming slowly because it feels like you feel like you're in the dark. This energy feels like you're receiving something from Spirit, or there's something that you're connected to that you recognize as truth. It feels like it's brand new. It may be more than you've ever experienced before, which for a fixed sign can be a little difficult to accept. Especially if there isn't a lot of physical, tangible proof. But it honestly feels like you are the thing. It almost goes back to Leo in some ways. You are the thing that calls it in. The nightingale is calling out the light. The Ace of Cups, the light is like pouring forth from the top. It's like whatever is being born within you, it feels very throat chakra or solar plexus. There's something about expression here. You have to express it to call it out. Oops, to call it out. There you go. You got to express it, Taurus. And it's like expressing this positions you to receive it. So it is a little, again, it's a little bit of that. Well, it feels more Wheel of Fortune than Six of Pentacles here because there's a newness to it. It feels like Six of Pentacles is more about tending to something, nurturing something that like already exists, more or less. Like you have the seed and you're trying to get a plant, right? So you take care of the seed. This is Wheel of Fortune because it feels like it's calling something else in. And it reminds me, oh my gosh, I think it was for Taurus. Miss Remy Healing, speaking of Reem. She had 2 Taurus videos that were, it's like, you know, you planted for potatoes, but you got onions. As you grew, the seed changed to basically match what it is that you've grown into. I didn't say it nearly as well as she did. But that's this energy. And it feels like the turtle is here because you're slowing it down. It honestly, it feels like you need to, it feels like you're learning to trust more in spirit. Because the turtle is land in water, but in water. That's why the shell of the tortoise is different than the shell of the turtle. The turtle shell is more streamlined. It's more aquadynamic, hydrodynamic for moving through water. That's why tortoises have like the big dome shells. Well, I don't know. Tortoises have big dome shells because they don't spend as much time in water. But turtles have those smoother shells, again, to make them more hydrodynamic. And so there is an energy here. It feels like you're shifting, again, it's here. You're shifting from an earthen, proven, physical, tangible, tactile energy to a more spiritual energy. But it feels like that's where everything that you want lies. And I love that you have the whale and the dragonfly down here, both cards of wisdom. Whale is ancient wisdom. Dragonfly, it too is an ancient wisdom, but it carries a little bit more of a magical aspect to it for me. It's like the dragonfly has been around for a while. The dragonfly has seen the entirety of things. Going back to that Wheel of Fortune, the dragonfly knows seasons and cycles. And I was thinking about this too today, or last night, about how short our lifespans are. And so there are cycles that are bigger than us that we don't necessarily understand because we don't live long enough in one incarnation to see it sort of return or to see it work around full circle. And so there's this energy here. It's almost like making the best of where you are. And again, that's that Seven of Pentacles. It's like making the best of where you are rather than going for what you actually want. And this is with the forgiveness. Number 16, 14, and 16. I love that the tree is here because trees also live for a while. Forgiveness, redemption, rebirth, and regeneration. This is connected with the forest green color ray. I'll read this. Forgiveness resonates to rejuvenation and renewal of all levels of light. It attunes to the very lifeblood of creation. And again, that's that dragonfly energy, like it's been around for a while. This sacred ray infuses restoration and healing and is aligned with the revival of all core levels of one's physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies. It represents the very essence of Mother Earth and her therapeutic powers of rebirth and endless regeneration. You are always embraced and forgiven by Mother Earth's generosity. You may require a time of rest, relaxation, and rejuvenation. Reevaluate your life and all that has transpired, as changes will be forthcoming. Know that taking this time out is necessary, and all will be well. It's also a time for forgiveness. Forgive yourself and also forgive others so you can progress forward with a fresh outlook. You may be needing a release before the new energies come forth in your life. This is connected to Gaia Stone, Chrysoberyl, and Evergreen Blends essential oil. This is interesting. I always focus more on this face in this card, but there's also like an entire person at the bottom of the tree trying to help that fairy. You see that? There you go. But there's a little bit of an earth angel energy here, because it feels like this energy trying to help the fairy is the same as this, or this is an incarnation of this energy. I also love that the branches and the trunk of the tree extends beyond the card. Like you can see that branch up there, and you can see the trunk down there. And you can also see the bottom of the woman. You can see the woman down here. It feels like there's an energy. It feels like this energy comes down to lift you up. Like it feels like this is the woman, this is the fairy. Like this is you, maybe. This is your higher self, your higher potential. And some higher being, Mother Nature, Gaia, Spirit, is coming down to meet you where you are to lift you up. And it feels like something that you called for. Either you're in the space of calling for or you have called for. It feels like the difficulty lies in receiving. Because now you're learning to be in the water instead of on earth. And then we got all this over here. Excuse me. It feels like the snake represents cycles because it's in the Ouroboros configuration. But with the flower of life on the inside, it's representing the transformation that we have to go through to enter different cycles. And the Son of Wands is another watcher. I think Leo got like the owl and the Mother of Swords. Sorry, the Son of Swords. You got the Son of Swords. I think deer can be watchers too, but deer are like earth-based watchers. Because you know when like a deer just like stops and stares at you before they like hop away. Also, I guess that's reminding me of, I think Rob read Libra yesterday. And there was a deer that appeared at the beginning of the video. So what is the Seven of Swords? Connecting the snake and the Son of Wands. Son of Swords, I don't know why I keep calling it the Son of Wands. The Seven of Swords is an energy of withholding. It feels like this fox is to experience all seven of these swords, but it fixates on this one. It doesn't progress past this one, which again is a bit of this energy of like the things that you call out for, but don't necessarily receive. The Seven of Swords in this deck in particular for me is a card of birthright. The Seven of Swords has also come to be my minor Wheel of Fortune. So there's that Wheel of Fortune energy. And the Ouroboros is the Wheel of Fortune in the Mystical Dreams Tarot. I could pull the Mystical Dreams Tarot, look before and after the Ouroboros, but I'm not going to do that. If I say I'm not, but I want to. Oh, darn it, Taurus. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I already have it here. Oh, goodness. Oh, it's at the top of the deck. It's with the Seven of Pentacles right here. And the Seven of Pentacles, it's this person who's like at a loss. It feels like there's something that he's called towards with the raven or the crow on his shoulder, but he doesn't know how to get there. It seems like it's above him and the rainbow doesn't connect to the ground. Under the Ouroboros is Judgment. It feels like this is your call, Taurus. Whether or not you receive this, it feels like it's on you. Because again, it feels like you've called it in. But it doesn't, like the question is on you being able to receive. It lies more in your ability to receive than your ability to like manifest, right? Than your ability to call it in. Like you manifest just fine. You call things in just fine. But how do you feel about receiving? And I think that's this minor Wheel of Fortune, too. Because the Ouroboros in that deck still has its legs. This snake has already lost its legs. And so there's something that it's already adapted to. It also feels that there's an energy here of like not crying over spilled milk, right? Maybe what you're wanting to receive, maybe what you're asking for is related to something that you've done in the past, which is why the energy of exiled and forgiveness is here. It feels like maybe it didn't work out in the past. And maybe you think that you would be like dumb to go back to this or to do it again, or you would be perceived that way. But again, there's this energy where things are moving forward. It also feels that like it feels more like this, honestly. Now, either this is something or someone coming to poke you in the butt so you get off that sword so you can experience the rest of what you have to experience. That's one way I'm feeling this. Another way is, again, it's like it feels like you're still manifesting more and more and more. So it's going to turn the Seven of Swords into the Eight of Swords because you're asking for this sword. But you're not open to letting go of, surrendering, receiving these other things. And maybe you are a little bit of a deer in headlights at everything that's coming in, too. I feel like there's a lot of self stuff here as well. Like maybe you asking or wondering if you're worthy or deserving of all of the things that are coming in. Because it feels like you called for it, you know it's coming. But again, it's receiving it, it's flowing with it. That's where the difficulty and the struggle lies. And it feels like the whale here symbolizes all that you have to grow into or all that you have to receive. It feels more like an expansion of like knowledge and wisdom. All that you have to grow into as you learn to receive and as you receive more and more. What's also interesting is we got the Nine of Cups and the Ace of Cups here, which is a Ten of Cups potential. But again, it feels like one that's coming in really slow and one that you may not, it feels like you're not in a space to really accept it. So maybe this is going to be Spirit poking you in the butt a little bit to get you to move so that you can claim it. But again, it's like it gives you, we can't really be forced to do anything. So us being poked in the butt is an opportunity for us to move forward, allow that Wheel of Fortune to turn into a Fortuna Major, and to get what it is that we wish. I just had deja vu. To get what it is that we desired. Not a strong deja vu, but a little bit of deja vu between these three cards. Or we can choose not to accept it and be in that Eight of Swords space where we could be doing better, but we're not by choice. Or because of things that we don't want to let go of. And again, being fixed sign in a fixed element like Earth, it's gonna be, it's like it's understandable that this would be something that you're like needing to work on. And it feels like that's kind of sort of the thing for fixed energy so far today. It's about working through your fixedness to allow for something new. And for you, Taurus, again, it feels like this is stuff that you've been asking for. It's stuff that you've been manifesting. But to actually be faced with your manifestation, it's like, whoa, like, am I ready for this stuff? Like, is this like legit? Like me? Like, wait, like right now, are you sure? Like, I don't know if I'm ready. That was literally me the other night, and I got a Taurus moon and rising. It's like I'm talking about wanting something, and then someone's like, hey, and I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I'm not ready. But also, I understand in my own life, I can turtle a little bit, and I think you can turtle a little bit as well, Taurus. Just keep moving forward, and eventually you'll hit the water, and you'll learn to swim. It feels like you're the turtle egg that hatched on the beach, and you're like making your way to the water. That's what this feels like. And this could be a fear of a predator here, but it feels like you're fine. And then also, we got the owl up here. But again, it feels like you're fine. So, that's what I got for you, Taurus. I don't want to be like, you asked for this. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. The fox. There's the fox under the deer. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Ba-ba-bum. I'm singing, okay? Let me live my life. Oops. There's the mother. Mother of swans. Mother of swans. Oh my gosh. Mother of cups. There's the Ten of Cups. Hey! Hidden by the Mother of Swords. Oof. Yeah. Oh, but the Ten of Cups is on top. I love that. I think the Mother of Swords can be a lot of skepticism in a lot of ways. And then again, shout out to Miss Remy Healings. Maybe there's, I'm surprised if you don't watch Miss Remy Healings, but I guess not necessarily everyone does. Check her out. Maybe there's something somewhere that will resonate for you in this situation, and it'll give you a little bit more insight, or it will give you a little bit more guidance into moving forward. Because again, first I saw the gazelle, then the deer was at the bottom of the deck, and now the gazelle is here again. Okay, we're just gonna force that together. So, Scorpio, last but never least, even if you feel like it. Sorry, Scorpio, but I know sometimes, y'all be in the deep. Y'all be like, people think this, people think that, and it's like, Scorpio, literally no one thinks that. We love you. You can be a little intense sometimes, sure, but so can everybody. Okay, well, I love you, Scorpio. I guess I can't speak for everybody, but I'm a Pisces, and I see y'all, Scorpio. I see y'all down there. I can be down there with. I mean, y'all can hold y'all breath a lot longer than I can. I can't just stay down there. Like I gotta keep moving for my own wellness. But there's also like a naturally buoyant force within me that if I spend too long down there, it's like a little air sac fills up and I just float back to the surface. And sometimes y'all can just be down there, but I remember it was like seeing rather than feeling or something like that. It's like it feels like Scorpio can intuitively feel a transformation and shift, but it was about stepping into that transformation and shift rather than just feeling it, like experiencing it. And let's see where you are today, Scorpio. Scorpio, honestly, sometimes y'all energy is like real good though. I'm like, what? Scorpio out there doing the work? I mean, every sign is like that, you know. I think one time, like, Scorpio had the best reading, and I was like, what? Scorpio. Love that. I love a happy Scorpio. Scorpio, y'all deserve it. And it feels like, again, sometimes, it feels like Scorpio can feel the weight of certain things a little bit more. And that there may be certain things that they hold on to or disallow. But, like, life is gorgeous. Let it be. The root portal. Number 33. I'll give this 3 more shuffles. 2 more shuffles. 1 more shuffle. No more cards, please. Final shuffle. Thank you. Oh, goodness. Oh, Scorpio. Scorpio. Why? Bottom of the deck is forgiveness. Oh, Scorpio. So you got the root portal, you got exploration. Challenges came out first. Oh, 15 and 6. Both of these are a 6. This is a 6. Okay, Scorpio, come through with the 6s. Ah. And then we have 32, which is releasing, and 3, which is awakening. So 3, 3, 3, 3, and then 32, which is before the 33. This feels a little like this. 15, 16, 32, 33, 3, 6. There's no 9. Okay, this is how I'm going to do this. I want 1 card for each of these. 1 or 2. Scorpio, your part is probably going to be like an hour long. I want to get both of these in the same. This one feels like this. Oh, snap. Hold up. One second. This ran a little longer than I thought. Sorry, Scorpio. Ooh. Oh, it's so bad. I'm always like late. It's fine. Oh, I wanted to get these from the same. I guess it wasn't meant to be. I want 2 for this one. I don't know why. There, nope. I want that tarot card right there. Yep. And I'll do the top for this one, and the bottom for this one. The Panther. The Panther. Pantera? That's a band, right? Maybe you like Pantera, Scorpio. There's one Scorpio who I feel like would say they like Pantera, even though I'm not exactly sure what Pantera is. I'm pretty sure I've actually heard that Scorpio say Pantera. And that Scorpio is Rob from Rob Odinson. So, hey Rob, if you're watching this. Sir Professor Nerdplow of the Norse. The Panther and Forgiveness. I love this. This is about coming into the light. It's about realizing that, you ain't got to be down there. You don't have to be. And it's also this energy of like, you can not be in the dark and still be Scorpio. I think sometimes we can kind of fall into certain associations. Or it maybe not even necessarily that. It's like, I've experienced so much of one thing for so long, I don't even know who or how or what to be outside of that. And it's like, is not knowing enough to continue to suffer? For some people, yes. Because we're human and, the unknown is like that. No judgment. It'd just be like that, right? I mean, I was like that for a minute. I was like, I don't want to be miserable, but also I don't necessarily feel comfortable not being miserable. So, okay. All right, Scorpio. We're starting with the root portal, and on top of the root portal, we have the hyena. I wish I had the animal book, but that's fine. I mean, I'm reading this book. I might as well read the animal book. The root portal is vitality, stability, and survival, and fearful when out of alignment. This is connected with the deep red colorway. Primal grounding forces connect us with the earth and our tribal beliefs. The root or base chakra is the basis of... I'm not going to read this. Yeah, we're just going with it, Scorpio. So you got the root portal. On top of exploration is the lamb, and I love that. On top of releasing is the Mother of Swords, another Watcher. On top of awakening is the Ten of Pentacles, and on top of challenges is the Empress and the Cheetah. So, Scorpio. Releasing with the Mother of Swords is all about surrendering certain narratives. The Mother of Swords, Queen of Swords energy has become all of who she had to be to accomplish something that she wanted to accomplish. But it's reaching the point where she needs to allow for things to change. Particularly some of the things that she didn't like. The lamb on top of exploration I love because I feel like there's this energy where you could have been where you were, like you're so used to the dark. You're so used to like holding things, withholding, hiding. It feels like you're used to maybe even suffering in silence. Which could also be a Mother of Swords energy. Never let them see you cry because you don't want to be that emotional woman. Right? Type of energy. But it feels like there's a certain vulnerability in this exploration that would make you feeling like a real prey animal. I feel like it's a question of your relationship with vulnerability. And no one necessarily likes to be vulnerable. Also, there's this energy is echoing, it's mirroring this one for me. So it's leading to this awakening. Which makes sense. So do. Boom. This is how it's working. The lamb, because it's a star. So the lamb in exploration is leading to the Ten of Pentacles and awakening. The Ten of Pentacles is a dynastic energy. It feels like there's lots for you to claim, though. And it feels like things that were, it's like when you have interest sort of accruing in an account. Like there's something that's been accruing lots and lots of interest while you haven't been utilizing it. And it's time for you to start to claim some of it. And you can still leave like things in this account so it can continue to accrue interest, but you can use some of this, right? And then it takes me down to the hyena and the root portal. This puts an interesting color on this. Because now the hyena and the root portal brings in the family. It was feeling like ancestral wealth here, honestly, not gonna lie. And this feels like remnants of what you have to work through. But then that, again, it leads us to releasing in the Mother of Swords. So it's releasing those energies that it's like they're not yours. They're inherited. They were passed down. I don't even know why I'm still here because I haven't even looked over here in a minute. I'm just like looking at y'all are looking at me. Look at the cards. We're looking at this together. But it's in reverse for me. It's upright for you. I don't know. I wanted to put it upright for y'all today. I feel it every now and then. It feels like it's not necessarily yours. It's inherited, but it's not yours. And then this leads us to the Cheetah, the Empress with challenges. This feels like a very fleeting energy. It feels like an energy of maybe you would experience it in part before, but it wouldn't stick. And because it didn't stick in the past, it makes it even more difficult for you. It feels like it makes it more difficult to release. Because it's like it created a history or a pattern of ephemerality, a short-livedness. And then that's why the challenge links back to this exploration. Because it feels like in the pattern that it held in the past, what it does is it gets you to not invest fully. Like you put in, but then like you pull out. You put in and pull out, put in and pull out. And because you don't really invest fully into this, because you go into it sometimes with the mindset of, oh, it's not going to work. It's going to, like, you walk into a situation with all of these beliefs about how it's going to fall apart. And because that's what you believe, and that's sort of the fixed water in Scorpio. It can be the fixed water in Scorpio. And you're powerful, Scorpio. So if that's what you believe, then that's what's going to happen. And all it's going to do is it's going to reinforce how short-lived this is. It's going to reinforce how things never work out. It's going to reinforce the things that were instilled in you. And it's going to push all that you have to gain even further outside of your reach. So it's like at some point in here, how do I do this? At some point within this star, you have to come in and break something. Because it feels like, again, the 10th pinnacle in this deck is trapped inside of that one. Inside of the center one. It took me a long time I was like, because I would see this and I'm like, that's only 9 pinnacles. Where's the 10th one? That's only 9 pinnacles. Where's the 10th one? And one day I actually went looking for it. I was like, oh, it's inside the one in the middle. This feels very Disney Hercules Tartarus with the thunderbolts of Zeus across, and when Hades came in and broke the prison and the Titans got out, but instead of it like being Titans wreaking havoc, it's Titans that like bring wealth and prosperity. When the Titans ruled, it was the Golden Age. When the gods came in, that was the introduction of chaos and everything else. And so it feels like there is a certain abundance that is or has been locked away because of some kind of pattern somewhere. I don't know where it started. But it feels like when you break the star, like it opens it up for this, like for the 10th pinnacle to come outside. And so in that, it does feel like maybe you're partially starting over, or you're going to be doing something that isn't what was sort of maybe it wasn't what you were necessarily expecting, right? Maybe you built up in one direction only to be feeling pulled to explore in another, and all of the vulnerability and all of the trust that you need in that. But it feels like the line would break here. Either here or this line would be the one that breaks. It's up here somewhere. It doesn't necessarily feel like it's in the root or in challenges. I mean, but you have releasing again. Releasing, awakening. Exploration, releasing, awakening. Overcoming these challenges to allow what lies beneath the history of chaos to come back to the surface. And again, it feels like what was locked away. The gods locked the Titans away. The Titans ruled in that age of prosperity for all. And it feels like that's what you have the potential to come back into. It feels like it lies beneath all of this again. It's like if you look at the rings of a tree, or if you look at the Grand Canyon, where you see the different layers of minerals throughout different times, right? It's like you have to get through, you have to break through the garbage. I don't want to necessarily call it garbage, but you have to break through the things that you don't want to continue to experience to allow the things that you want to experience to come back up to the surface. And it's a well energy. Again, it's that well, right? You're digging a well. And it's here. And I'm not going to pull a card for here because I feel like it's not for me to know. It's what you're exploring into. And once you hit it, it's like it bubbles up to the surface. Then you can go and you can put the bucket down whenever you need water. And again, with the well, it continues to fill. So you don't have to worry about, well, if I take my bucket too many times, the well is going to run dry, right? It's like when you access this account, it's still going to be accruing interest. It's still going to be building. There's more here than you can take. And that's not a challenge necessarily to see how much you can go for. Because I guess if your aim is to deplete it, then you will find it depleted. Again, it goes back to the power that you hold. And with the Empress and the Cheetah, it feels like quick. So maybe, like, again, it's like, you find yourself exploring into a new situation, you're feeling into a new flow, and then something from the past with this route to releasing line, something from the past creeps in, and as soon as you created this new beautiful thing, that's as soon as it falls apart. But with the Panther down here, it feels like it's not necessarily for you to let go of everything. The Ice Queen is in the middle here. And I'm gonna pull her for you. It's her energy. I'm not gonna pull before and after to see what actually I will, because that's how I roll. Higher perspective, which is fitting. The Ice Queen in the middle, and destiny on top of challenges. So exploration, lamb, and higher perspective. Challenges, the Empress, the Cheetah, and destiny. Look, it's a CCDE. Or a CDE. Cheetah, Destiny, Empress. So it does kind of sort of feel like, but again, that's this energy that was here. Energy of like smaller cycles. It feels like you're siphoning off. It's that emotional bleed energy again. It's the leech or the leche. I don't know how to pronounce it. Because it feels like, again, you're supposed to, it is on your path to expand into a whole lot more, but you can short circuit it and keep yourself running this loop instead if you want. I don't think you want it, but it feels like it can happen. So I'm going to read Ice Queen. I love Ice Queen. She's my favorite card in this deck. So Ice Queen is introspection, self-analysis, and fortitude. It's connected with the silver-white colorway. Ice Queen resonates to personal power and liberation from the shadow self. Hey, there's Panther. This revealing ray ignites strength and fortitude, calling forth a presence from the depths of the soul to penetrate through the most difficult of challenges and trials, fusing a bridge between the powers of nature, soul light power, and the darkness that is a part of the light itself. A new butterfly is born as it sheds its old self and steps into the newness and light of its own being. Go into a space of deep inner reflection, for it is a time of going within, and is required in order to face the shadow self. Perhaps you need to retreat and do some self-growth exploration. If you feel lost or confused about your situation, just go within. It takes strength and courage to reveal the truth, and sometimes the shadows attempt to hide light from you. Honor both the light and dark, but choose light. This is connected with snow quartz, phantom quartz, and wintergreen essential oil. Oh my gosh, there's a little white horse on the Ice Queen. I don't know if I've ever noticed a little white horse on the Ice Queen. But it's actually a unicorn. It's got a little baby horn. And it feels like the horn is growing. The Four of Swords in this deck, the Four of Swords in this deck is a lamb. And it has four swords pointing down above it. But it has, its third eye is lit up. It looks like a little sun. And it feels like that's the space that the horn grows out of. And so there is an energy. Oh, 21, 22. I didn't even notice that. Higher Perspective was before Ice Queen, and Destiny's here. There's the 9! The 9 I was looking for! We got the 33, a 3. Another 3 now because of the 21. There's the 6 and another 6 because of the 15. I was like, we got this 3, 6, but where's the 9? The 9 is here. Again, it's something, it lies at the center of this well, in the middle of the star. Higher Perspective and Destiny is behind this Ice Queen. Higher Perspective I actually love because in a higher perspective, you can account for the dark without removing it. And again, it feels like, and even in the hyena, there's light and dark to this moon, right? Light side of the moon, dark side of the moon. But in this is a changing of the tides energy because this is a different face of the moon than we usually see. Right? The same face, the same side of the moon is like always pointing at Earth. And so there is this energy where if you turned the moon, it would all be light if it's full. But you would be able to tell that this side is like tanner than this side. Even though I feel like the back side, I don't know. I don't have to overthink this. But it feels like with this being a different face of the moon and the moon controls tides and water, it feels like the tides would change and you're fixed water. And so it feels like there's this energy of a changing tide colliding with a fixed tide pattern. But it feels like there's a lot of magic here, honestly. Yeah, see, from challenges to destiny, you take the 6, you flip it, and you get the 9. This is a double-edged sword. Destiny is a double-edged sword. I'm watching The Witcher. That's what the Dryad said to... oh, look, Dryad energy and forgiveness. That's what the Dryad said. Destiny is a double-edged sword. And certain challenges, certain genealogies are also part of your destiny. And overcoming those challenges. So, this is what I got for you, Scorpio. It feels like this is where I leave it. I hope you have a good whatever. Whenever you see this, I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And I hope that whatever you need, you find. Be that courage, be that wise counsel, be that companionship, whatever. Right? So, I forgot to say that for all the other signs. I just kind of sort of moved right into the next one. I'll do a final message then, because then I can say it to everybody. And I'm going to shuffle these cards before I put them away anyway. So, I'm going to timestamp that here so it doesn't seem like a more Scorpio than it is. And I'm going to say this is 150-50. I could have did 150-45, but that's fine. If I had enough space, I would be able to keep these two decks together, but I don't. So I also need to separate these so I can put them back in their boxes. Even if I had more space, I kind of like putting stuff back in its box. But I guess I could leave this out. Okay. It's easier if I do it this way. Cascais? That's a place, right? Is that in Portugal? I feel like Russell was in Cascais at some point. I don't know why that just popped into my mind. Cascais. Hey Siri, where's Cascais?
Okay, here's Cascades.
Not Cascades. The mountains. Hey Siri, where's Cascais?
Okay, here's Cascade.
Yeah, it's doing Cascade. It's doing Cascade. I'm gonna say, hold up. I'm gonna send a message. Can we do like 2:45? I totally lost track of time. I mean, this video ended up being over 2 hours long, so. I do kind of like individual uploads. A little bit. If I had some editing chops, I could just cut this video into 4 different parts. But it's fine. Sometimes collectives of energy can do stuff. I don't know. This is how I'm doing it. I don't have to justify it. Right. Okay. Final message from the Magical Dimensions Oracle Cards and Activators made by Lightstar. She actually has a channel. She does. Last I saw, I haven't really watched her in a while. She did a lot of light language activations. Emotional Freedom, number 12, with the bottom of the deck being my favorite card. Ice Queen. Emotional freedom in the Ice Queen at the bottom of the deck. I love that. I feel like emotional freedom in the Ice Queen, this is an energy, it's almost picking your battles. It's an energy of knowing how to forgive. It's also an energy, it feels like it's working through your shadow to be more in your light. And then the promise is under Ice Queen. But I'll read emotional freedom, since this is the card that came out. It's number 12. 12 is the Hangman. It's also the Wheel of Fortune and the High Priestess. Emotional freedom, vulnerability, flowing, and rebalancing. True blue colorway is what it's connected to. Emotional freedom resonates to emotional balance and harmony. Oh, this is vulnerability, flowing, and rebalancing, by the way. Vulnerability, flowing, and rebalancing as a final message for the fixed signs. I like it. Emotional freedom resonates to emotional balance and harmony. Only by revealing true, raw emotions can healing and rebalance take place. Allowing the expression of emotions to the fullest in a safe environment will allow catharsis and lasting harmony. Accepting this will carry forth a wave of understanding at deeper levels, and this will assist in allowing further expansion and growth. You may be feeling emotionally unstable. Sharing your emotions with yourself or others may be scary, but it will help you release them and rebalance your energies. Focus on restoring harmony to your emotional center. Engage in self-loving acts to help you restabilize. Taking sea salt baths will help detoxify your emotions. Sometimes being vulnerable and open is for our greatest good for growth. Once we release, our stability is regained. This is connected to blue aragonite and endicolite, and the blue chamomile essential oil. So, chamomiles are like calming, right? Blue is like, well, it can be expression in the throat, but also like water and emotion. So, and both would be applicable. So, let's go to the animals. I don't know why I'm like slamming that. Oh my gosh. Cosmic Egg and the Cobra. I love that. It's an energy that almost teaches us, again, it's this swan. It's the Cosmic Egg and the Cobra. And one way it can be input from a future self. But it's like it's an energy that teaches us how to be us. And it to teach us how to be us, it has to encourage that self-reflection that that 12 was literally just talking about. I already forgot what that card was. What was it? Emotional freedom, right? That's what we got to do for emotional freedom. We got to be honest. We got to be raw. We got to be vulnerable, or else we continue to give it power over us, right? That which cannot be expressed cannot be received. That which cannot be expressed is difficult to receive. It's not that it can't be received, but it feels like there would be difficulty in it. The snake and the golden egg. I'm not taking either one of these. Crocodile. Okay. Final animal, please. Final animal message, please. Oh, girl, that's too much. It's too much. It's too much. Was that the golden egg again, though? It was. That was way too much. But I did see the beaver, and I've talked about the beavers before. How I view the beavers, and the beavers create these blockages in our chakras, and if we remove the beavers, I should have just kept the beaver. If we remove the beavers without finding them a new home, then they're just going to come back. So a lot of times we do Reiki, or we get energy work done, or we do this or we do that to remove a blockage in the chakras, but we don't address what causes the blockage in the first place. So the blockages keep coming back and keep coming back and keep coming back. And when you do the work, that deep inner reflective work, you make it so that those things don't necessarily block as much. Because the chakra system, it's a self cleaning oven. It's a shout out to Miss Remy Healings. It's another one of those self cleaning ovens. Energies balance themselves out so long as there isn't an external disturbing factor or an internal disturbance, and we don't really work through those disturbances. But once we clear out like the 7 base, it feels like with the beaver, we discover so much more. We discover those energy centers that connect us. That it's like it plugs us into the collective subconscious. It leads us closer to the creator, closer to the truth of who we are on a soul level. Right? Where that universal witness sits. A little closer to that. Bumblebee. There you go. Are you the only one, Bumblebee? I didn't even notice. Bottom of the deck is the zebra. Bumblebee is here. This feels microscopic. It feels like we're looking at the bumblebee under a microscope. There's also an energy of a flooded earth. And I say that because you see that little bit of green down there? It feels like a continent. But the rest of the earth is white. Well, it could be like a 5D earth. It could be 5D earth. It doesn't have to be flooded. I like that. It feels like that 5D, that new earth, that new Midgard energy. Shout out to Rob from Rob's Tarot. It was a collective video. That's what it was. It wasn't Libra. It was collective. Because it feels like most of the world is light. But there's a piece of it that's starting to come into being. We're collectively creating our future. And maybe the zebra at the bottom of the deck, it's like there is a little bit of an energy of aligning to that which we wish to experience, aligning to that which is going to be this sort of new earth, new Midgard energy, but aligning to it in more than just like an energetic way, aligning to it in more than just a spiritual sort of way. Because again, this is earth, so we kind of got to do stuff. And so it's about embodying, it's about being, it's about acting, it's about voicing, it's about expression. It's about embodying and expressing to actually bring it into form rather than it remaining this sort of concept. That's what that feels like to me. As always, feel free to take whatever you get. Use your intuition. Take it as it resonates for you. Take it as it resonates for you. Take it as it resonates. 10 of Swords. Wheel of Fortune. 6 of Pentacles. 3 of Pentacles. 7 of Swords. 6 of Pentacles. You give what you get with the 6 of Swords and the 7 of Pentacles. You give what you get. And Universal Witness is always watching. 7 of Swords is my minor Wheel of Fortune card because of the Tarot Apocalypses, right? And so in that there is an energy of like, if you can experience something and not be made bitter because of it, then you create the opportunity to be made better. And that's how it's the minor Wheel of Fortune. There's this energy here of like darkness begets darkness. Shadow begets shadow. And there's also an energy here. Dark is when we enter a space of like multidimensionality, certain multidimensional aspects. It's like dark is and light is. Dark is and light is. And so shadow can either be obstructed darkness or obstructed light. And it's this energy of like not everything that is of light is light, because some things obstruct the dark. And because we see something that obstructs the dark, it appears to our perception as light, even though it isn't necessarily light. It's just something that obstructs dark. That's how like we can come into certain knowing, we can come into certain knowings, come into certain awarenesses, but it isn't necessarily the truth, right? If the dark is the things that we don't understand and the light is the things that we do, we can be given false information so that we think we have an understanding, but it may not necessarily be the truth. In the same way, right? Typically, we view the shadow as obstructed light, and we associate that with the dark because in our framework, light is and dark is the absence of light. But when light is and when dark is, the shadow becomes the obstruction of either. And the obstruction of either doesn't necessarily reflect on the absolute truth of it, right? Like obstructed dark isn't necessarily light, just like obstructed light isn't necessarily dark. It's shadow. It's somewhere, something in between. And depending on how you move your fingers, or depending on what object you pick up and how far or how close it is to the source of light or dark, will determine the size and shape of the shadow. It can be very cleverly done and very intentionally done too. And this feels like something has more of an understanding than we do. And it can limit and restrict what information like we receive. And it can also influence the accuracy of that information. But if you tap into that black egg, inner voice, inner truth, inner knowing, it'll never lie to you. And so we build that more than anything. Right? Strength, the Wheel of Fortune, Strength in the World card. Love it. The Fool with that Two of Cups now. Final message from the Wild Unknown Tarot, please. So I can go get some food. And then we can record this podcast episode. And I can start moving in my 3D life like I need to be. Ten of Cups. Bottom of the deck is the Fool. I love this energy. It feels like we're coming into a time where more is possible than ever. And it feels like it's related to an increased receptivity. All of the cups at the bottom are holding all colors, rather than them all being of one color. When it's all red, you never experience orange, yellow, blue, or green. If it's all of one color, you don't experience any of the others. But here you experience all of them. And it's an energy of like knowing multiple sides. I don't want to say like you're harder to lie to. Son of Swords and Justice. Under the Fool. We all decide for ourselves what is and what is not. But when you decide based on information received from another, when you subscribe to another's beliefs, you take it all on. And I think sometimes we take on more than we may necessarily know. We take on its light and we take on its shadow and we take on its dark. And again, it's that energy of like, not everything that appears to be light is light. Some of it is just obstructed darkness. And since we're more comfortable in the light, and since we naturally sort of fear the dark and unknown, we buy into it. But we all make that choice for ourselves, even if you choose to buy into what someone else says, does, or believes. You make that choice. And it's not that you necessarily forfeit your power, but it's like, you use your power to align with whatever else. And with that Ten of Cups, it reminds me of the exploration that came out for Scorpio. And it reminds me of the Lamb that came out with exploration. But it also reminds me of what was going to be Leo, the Leo video, of to be informed without being influenced. It's like there are many keys, many paths, many ways for a reason. And we can be knowledgeable of the many while still treading down the path of our own. And we can be informed by the many. But it's like, we get to decide what we do with all of that information, with those bottom 5 cups. And what portion, like there's a real alchemy transmutation energy. Which portions and which parts to take from these 5 different ones to get us closer to our truth. And there may be, it's like all of the colors are present in every cup down here at the bottom, but they can be present in different amounts. And when they're present in different amounts, it gives you a different color, right? It's like your RGB or your CM. What's the other one? Cyan, magenta, and yellow, CMY. If it's like computers, or your red, green, blue. If it's like paints and pigments. Different amounts give us different colors. And so it's an energy of like, don't be afraid to use your discernment. Don't be afraid to be a little discerning. But also don't be afraid to explore a little bit. But always use your discernment, right? There are certain things that I just know are not for me. And it's not to cast any judgment on the people that it is for, but for me, it's not for me. It doesn't hold the same resonance for me. I feel like I wouldn't get the same out of it. Like it wouldn't have the same, I want to say utility for me, because it's just like I'm not wired to really engage with the world, to engage with spirit, and to engage the dynamic between the world and spirit in that way. And so, like, I take on the information, right? Somewhat. But it doesn't necessarily have to become my practice. And again, this is just what I found, right? So it could be different for you. It's different for everybody. And sometimes our paths are similar enough that we can use the same tools, we can utilize the same information, but maybe the difference in paths comes in the way that we practice, comes in the application of the method, right? Because a lot of things are like vast, like infinitely vast, and you can find any way of application. It's just don't be afraid to be you and to explore you, right? And don't be afraid to be the only one that you come across to be the only one that you come across, or to be the only one that you find. You may find more like you later. I don't know. take it as it resonates. I hope y'all have a good whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path, you find it. And I hope that you give yourself the opportunity to experience better. And I hope that your environment cooperates with that. So, I will catch you all later. This has been Fixed Signs. Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio. Timestamps are in the description box. And I'll put them in the comments. And yeah, I'll catch y'all in the next one. Have a most excellent whenever. And have a better one. Even if it's good, right? Because it can always be better. And not in a way of never being satisfied, but in a way of continual growth and evolution and expansion.